I am pumped for today's podcast. Can't believe it's episode 41. And my guest today is a good friend of mine, mentor, Tim Stout. He is waiting in the background, and we're going to bring him up shortly. I need to share my page as normal. And I just can't wait for him to tell his story, talk about his real estate business, how he's grown through the years, his team. So people out there listening, you are going to love this. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I tag everybody. Try to tag. And there. And good there. Post. And I'm actually going to share one other place. Group. I'm going to share it here. All right. We'll hit this record and we're going to get started. And welcome to the Super Terb Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Terb, your local real estate expert, the Ida Terb Group, Coldwell Banker HPW, a.k.a. Super Terb, a.k.a. Coach Terb, out of Raleigh, North Carolina, or we like to say the Triangle. I'm on episode 41 of the Super Terb Podcast, where I talk real estate, business, sports, and beer in the Triangle. I started this podcast, I'm a little over a year ago, and talking to local business entrepreneurs, agents, for them to tell their stories, what drives them, what motivates them, as well as sprinkling some real estate tips and updates to help you guys along the way in this competitive market. And today, as I mentioned before, my guest, Tim Stout, with Tim Stout and Associates of True Real Estate Advisors, is one of the top agents in the country. His team, he's actually got a team in Georgia. I'll have him tell you more about the location when he comes on, as well as in East Tennessee. His team did over 400 units. I don't want to say 400 units. He helped over 400 families accomplish their real estate goals last year. Not only is he a phenomenal real estate agent, he's an entrepreneur. He's a real estate investor. He's an author and a former professional MMA fighter. Because I know that I've gone down and he's part of me, and you don't want to mess with him. So I can't wait for him to be on the podcast, tell his story. But before we get there, I always talk about real estate. I want to talk about coming soon. For anybody that's out there in this competitive market, especially on the buy side, you see these coming soon listings. What does it mean? How can we approach them? How can we get in this house, Terb? How can we buy the house? So I'm going to answer real fast. With coming soons, these are things as a listing agents we apply to help our sellers for a couple reasons. One, anybody that's on a search in that criteria looking for a particular home is looking for a price point, they're going to get pinged immediately, not only the consumer, but the agent. Two, it creates urgency because we have a date in which the coming soon date will go live. However, buyers now, because of the competitive market, we have less than 2 weeks of inventory in Wake County. It also allows sight unseen offers. So what does that mean? Sight unseen. That means that the buyers can't physically walk through the home until the home is active. So what they're going to do is take the information provided and submit an offer to the seller to see if they will accept their offer before they actually go active to the market. So we're seeing more and more of this. And so we're preparing our buyers for this situation in regards to what we may need to do to combat or deal with the obstacle or adversity of a coming soon listing. As a seller, it's a great way to market your property, and you can get max value for it. The more information you can provide up front, the better. And it's just something that we're seeing in our market. But if you have questions for that, you want any more information, or if any way we can help you accomplish your real estate goals, please message me. We'd be honored to do so. So that's my real estate tip today. I'm going to be right back on the other side with my guest, Tim Stout. And welcome back to the Super Terb Podcast. I'm your host again, Michael Terb, your local real estate expert with the Ida Terb Group, Coldwell Banker HPW, and I have Tim Stout from Tim Stout and Associates joining me today. Say what's up, Tim.
What's up, Tim? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Tim is the man. I was so happy and honored for him to come on the podcast with his busy schedule. And I know I've known Tim for several years now. He's actually helped me with my business. And I wanted him to come on, especially with agents that are listening to this podcast, just to hear about what they can do to help better themselves, grow their business, especially in such a competitive market, meaning that the lack of inventory, you have to create your own business. So, Tim, welcome. Tell everybody, again, your name. I know I've said it several times, and where you're from and where you are now.
Okay. Tim Stout. I am originally from Mountain City, Tennessee, which is about as far northeast as you can get in Tennessee. I moved here about 13 years ago as a professional fighter. I was brought down here to open the first gym on the south side of Atlanta. And I retired from that about 9 years ago and started real estate. So now I have a team of, I think there's 20 of us in Noonan, Georgia, and they are 6 of us in Johnson City, Tennessee.
That's fantastic. Now, you said you've been in real estate 9 years?
Yes, sir.
9 years. And before that, professional MMA fighter. What did fighting prepare yourself for the business that you're in now?
Good question. I think one of the biggest things is people are so scared of failure. People don't want to call people because they don't want to be told no. People don't want to knock on the doors. They don't want doors slammed in their face. And no matter how bad their reaction was, I wasn't going to get punched in the mouth over it. So it was almost a breath of fresh air to hear no instead of getting into a fight. So,
that makes a great point. And so you were, when you realized, okay, my professional career or it's coming to an end, or you decided to retire, what made you say, I'm going to go do real estate?
I wanted to be in sales. From 16, 17, young man, I was always one of the hardest workers in the room. And most of my career, the hardest worker in the room got paid the same as the lazy guy, because I was working in factories, I worked in some detention centers. And then once I started coaching, it was different. But I wanted to get paid for what I did, not what I was expected to do. So by saying that, I wanted to be in sales. Didn't know what I wanted to sell. I just knew I wanted to sell. I knew a few people in the real estate industry, and with my capability, my ability to learn, my ability to work hard, and my ability to do more than most, I knew I could succeed with it. So I figured if I was going to sell, I wanted to sell the highest ticket price with the most commission.
Understood. That's good. So when you got into real estate, what would you say the most challenging thing you encountered maybe that first year when you got in and started? Because I think everyone on the outside looking in, they watch the TV shows, they see, I want to go look at houses, but what would you say the biggest challenge that you had?
It's convincing people to use me as their real estate agent when I was only known for the guy that's been hit in the head for 15 years. Like, I was the fighter. Like now people know me in this area. They know me more for real estate than they do as the fighter, because I'm constantly educating. I'm constantly on social media. I'm constantly marketing. And, but the people who knew me, the people who were in my sphere, only knew me from fighting. And that's a hard trust. Because when I first got started, 2013, the market was way different. There was not a lot of agents. There was a lot of properties, and people had a lot of choices. So it was difficult to get through that at the level I wanted to get at. So
what did you do consistently to break through that? Was it mindset? Was it your schedule? What did you apply to? And then what was your aha moment? Like, I can do this.
From the beginning, my schedule was on par. It started off early, sitting in the office, not knowing what to do, but I know to show up at the office. My mindset was super strong, just because once you come from a fighting background, it's like there's not a lot that scares you, and there's not a lot that can stop you. And so I had that mentality coming in. I knew that I needed to know more. I hired a coach early. That's one thing I did. I hired Coach David Kesey out of the league, and he's phenomenal. I mean, I've been with him for the entire time nearly, and he helped me with my mindset. But just re-educating myself. I was educating myself constantly. I was constantly reading books. I've read for the last 6-7 years. I've read probably 40 to 50 books a year. So I've read 300-400 books, and I would educate the public. I would do that on social media, and I think eventually people realized that I wasn't going to be outworked, and I was more than just somebody who got hit in the head for a while.
And it shows. I actually came down, for people that are listening. Tim's a mentor coach for me, so as well as David Kesey that he mentioned. They've been so implemented or influential. I'm what I say in my career. I was doing it for over 10, 12 years when I met Coach Kesey and Coach Stout. And not only are they great mentors, but great friends. But the thing that I did is when I come down to shadow you and just listening to you talk, it wasn't so much, just what you're talking about. So those are great points. And going back to what I was going to ask before, they say 86, 87% of agents don't make it to their second year. They get in, maybe they don't have a plan, but for agents that are new in the business, I know you have a great team. You're training new agents, daily to help them accomplish their goals. What do you think that they need to implement right away to succeed?
I think most people fail in the industry because they have a false assessment of what real estate is. I think the majority of people have watched too much HGTV. I think they come in, the phone rings.
Jordan had a comment, by the way. So she wanted to give you a little shout out too. Sorry. Go ahead.
That people want to, one person's going to call them. They're going to look at one house. They're going to want to pay asking price, and then they're going to close. I think that's people's assumption. People don't understand that you have to call hundreds of people to get 3 or 4 people on the phone. You have to talk to 50 people to get one in a house, and you have to get 5 in a house to get one contract. And I think they don't understand the work. And one thing with sales like we do, real estate sales, it's not a 9 to 5. I have 15 clients. They are my boss. If they're calling at 8, 9 o'clock at night, I'm answering the phone. If they're calling at 5 and 6 in the morning, I'm answering the phone. Because one thing about real estate is clients want what they want when they want it. If I'm going to call an agent and they don't answer the phone, guess what I'm doing? I'm calling the next guy.
The next one.
Because I know 10 agents.
Yep.
And that's what they do until they get what they want. And it's human nature. It's not anything wrong. It's human nature. So I think the fail rate is people not willing to do what it takes to succeed.
Yeah, I think so. I think getting in, and as well as too, is that you made a great point. I know what changed my mindset, everything is, one, my schedule is my boss, but two is I come to work as I'm going to work every day. Same routine, same time frame, and I think when you come in with that mindset and go in to accomplish certain tasks, you're going to win. Like there's something right on my wall, the process over the scoreboard. So it's a matter of doing the things constantly, daily, over and over, and you're going to see the results. So how far along when you started your career that you said, you know what, I've got to start building a team?
I was probably almost through my second year. I'd closed like 70 some properties on my own, and was on track to do like over 100 on my own that year. And I was
100 on your own. How did you do that? As far as sanity, time?
Well, there's no time. I mean, fighting, I would train 6, 7, 8 hours a day. I'd have to sleep an extra 4 hours a day. So I was training or eating. So I took that same mentality, and we would work hard. I worked with a broker that had worked with REOs, so that helped a lot. Then I hired my first assistant, and that handled most of the leverage, handling all the leverage. And I just ran, and I ran fast. I ran hard. I had really good sales skills from education, from Coach Kesey, from everything I could consume. And at that point, I mean, it got to where it wasn't fun. And I realized I had to at least pass off my buyers, because buyers were, they consumed most of my time, but listings were so much important because I am a marketing based real estate agent. Listings are your reason to market. Nobody cares that you have a buyer. Tell me you've sold something.
Yeah.
So I started focusing on the listings, and then like now we have 14 buyers agents, and I have 5 admin, and I have a camera guy who's with me majority of the time doing social media and doing my whatever cockamamie idea comes up with that day.
So you brought up something, and you and I've talked about this in length since we've been working together, is the assistant or when to hire. A lot of people are afraid of that. They're scared, maybe a little more money they got to pay, or am I going to have enough business? What advice would you give to that, or people that are thinking in that regard?
I'll give them to the same advice that I've given you and multiple other clients is people think, well, I've got to pay this assistant for 40 hours for 12 months. I've got to pay them $40,000, and it's not the truth. It's like if I bring on an admin and I train them correctly or have them trained correctly, and then I'm going to put them on a 30, 60, 90. It's like I expect this at day 30. I expect this at day 60. And I expect you to be benefiting me so much. It is now a profit to have you in my office. And if that's not the case by day 90, you have to fire them. And then you have to come to a realization that I made a bad fire or I didn't train them well. And either way, it's your fault.
Understood. And so as you've built your team, what are hindsight? I know we're learning daily, but what are things if you go back in time and say, I wish I did that differently? Maybe the one or two things that you'd say, if I can go back and tell myself, I would do it.
I think building a team, when I first started off, I wanted a group of I thought a lot of agents would be more like me, hardworking, doing what it takes, loyal, and that stuff. So in the beginning, I brought on some agents, and they did end up staying with me. And it was just, I think I was looking for the wrong agent. I was looking for someone who could sell real estate at a high level instead of looking for someone who can really do well on a team. So when I changed my mindset, it changed a lot of things on the team because it changed a better team dynamic. It changed the atmosphere is so much better. And people that I have now, they depend on the team and what the team brings to the table. And I think being able to focus on team-based agents was one of the best things that I did.
Makes total sense. So what's your role now, Dave? What's your role with the team right now that helps generate over 400 families, and you're working towards that and more this year? So what's your day look like?
Okay. Well, my day, I get up at 4:20 in the morning. I'm at the gym by 5:30. I do jiu-jitsu or MMA of the morning, and I'm in the office by 8. And at 8, my day is I do all social media content. I do a lot of the coaching in-house, coaching in Tennessee, coaching clients outside of my teams. And then I make sure everything's running well. I've got a partner. I brought on my director of operations. I made her a partner earlier this year. She's phenomenal. She's the backbone of the team. She's the one who keeps everything in the pieces together, because I'm going to run through like a buzzsaw, and she makes sure that everything's together. So so that's mainly my job here is generating leads for the team, making sure that's happening. And my job in Tennessee is I'm basically an advisor. And here I'll still work with a few clients. I'll work with personal past clients here. But other than that, I mean, that's probably 10 deals a year than everybody else works it. And back home in Tennessee, I'm an advisor. I have someone up there who is a team leader position who does what I do here, also in sales. So I advise him. I advise the broker. I just advise the agents on how to put them in peak performance so they can make the most amount of money possible that they want to make. I don't want someone to make $200,000 if they're happy with 80 and want more time. So I will teach them to do that.
Got it. And you touched on something before where you're constantly, you were probably before the curve on social media, marketing, media content, and what strategies do you implement for social media? And for the agents that are out there, because you hear this a lot, they're either nervous or they don't want to bombard people with marketing, what have you. But what's your strategy? What would your advice be because social media has changed substantially even over the last year or two, especially with the algorithms, amount of content, but little insights and how you approach that.
Okay. I think you should be posting every day. And the reason I'm so bullish on social media is you have to market to where the eyes are, and everybody's eyes are here. Mm-hmm. Everybody's on their phone. So I can market, but we've got to come to the realization that real estate is boring. So I'm trying to make my marketing fun, creative. I do a lot of like TikTok reel style videos as far as education, as far as walkthroughs, and I do a lot of local stuff. I do hometown hotspots, Foodie Fridays, and we'll go through and we'll interview these small business owners, because I have a million followers on TikTok. I have probably a combined of 30,000 on Facebook. I got 10,000 on Instagram. So I've got a big reach. So I can take a small business owner who is where I was at one time, because I own several small businesses, put them on my platform and allow them to get 10,000 views in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks. And from the feedback I get from them, it's game changing for a lot of them, because they get so much notoriety and credibility. And it's a credibility play too. When you're on the show, when you're on my hometown hotspot, you're able to come in and you're featured. That's a good thing, because I'm trying to create myself as almost like a little celebrity, because I'm doing so much with the small businesses, and we support the police and stuff like that too.
You guys definitely helped me with that a few years ago. The video's king, and and I tell our team all the time, if you get an article or you get something you want to educate, do a video about it, because people need to know what you do, and and is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And you mentioned hometown hotspots and community events. That was one thing I also wanted to ask you out, because I know how involved you are in the community, whether you're doing a toy drive, a coat drive, breakfast with Santa. You even were very involved with helping with the cleanup. I know some tornadoes hit you guys over the last year. You guys were out there providing food. Talk about that and how that's important with your team and just your involvement with the community and how important that is, because we're obviously always in this business to do business. And I think that the giving side opens more doors to that, where maybe some agents haven't even thought about that. But talk about your team, your culture, and why that's so important to you.
The team is amazing. Our culture is amazing, and we come from a culture of giving. And I give them all the information they need to succeed. I have agents in my office every minute of the day asking questions. I'm coaching them. My job is to give them every tool they need to succeed. But we also believe that you have to give back to the community, because first of all, you do not deserve success if you can't help someone with it. And in our industry, success is mainly monetary. So sometimes my team helps monetarily. Sometimes we help with time. Sometimes we feed them. We show support, and it's super important, because you have to, as I say, you have to give where you live. And people don't care that you sell 100 houses, but you feed 100 police officers. They do care about that.
No, that's a big time.
And that's something that we do. We feed the police 2 to 3 times a year. We take a food truck, park it at the sheriff's department, and 100 police officers come out, and we sit out there, and the whole team is shaking their hands, telling them we appreciate them. We do coat drives when it's cold, because there's nothing worse than being cold. And in any area, you have people who can't afford it, can't afford new coats, can't afford coats, period. We do food drives because some of the lower income areas that I know good and well that they're not eating lunch when they're not in school, because that's where they eat lunch. And when they're home, they don't get to eat lunch. So we partner with these groups and we bring in food. We do food drives. So we do coat drives, food drives. We feed the police. We do rescue animal stuff. I'm very passionate about the police, kids, and pets. Very passionate about that stuff.
And you can show, and you guys even have fun things. I know COVID threw a wrench in some things, but like you guys do movie night in the square. You do things that are, and that's what we're trying to do. We're playing our Super Bowl party right now. I think people are looking forward to that. So no, that's all fantastic stuff. And I think everybody listening, that's really key is look to give back and to help. And I think you get the, not only the gratification of helping one another, but then, I think that, I sent out a letter to our sphere just not a couple weeks ago or last week, and it's the title of the Year of Giving. So everybody that closes with me or comes on my podcast, so you've got to tell me we're giving $50 to your favorite charity. And we want to do that. We want to give back more. So you're an inspiration for that. And leads me to this, because you're an author too, which is pretty cool. Forged in Fire. I've got a copy if anybody wants this on Amazon.
Yep.
Go get it. So what made you want to write a book? How long did it take you? And tell people about that, because I think that is really cool.
Well, for those who know anything about me, one thing you'll find out really quick is I have attention disorders. Like I do not pay attention well. I am hyper focused on whatever I'm doing until it's done. Everything else just disappears, and it doesn't matter what it is. So the reason to come with the book is when I was creating the Tennessee team, I have a very gifted admin up there, and she has helped ghostwrite for her father. And she's like, Tim, you need to tell your story. The stuff that people do not know. You need to talk about this. So she talked me into it, and I am, like I said, my attention doesn't do well. So what we would do is, an app me and you use is Marco Polo. Of the morning, I would get up and I would tell her a story on Marco Polo on my way to work. It would take 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes sometimes. And I would tell a story about something that happened when I was fighting or growing up in rural Tennessee, super poor, and how that affected me and how I used that in business. And that's what it is. It's Forging Fire, 50 tactics to win and succeed in business. And she would take it and she would put it in paper and she would send it to me. She would say, "Is this what you were saying?" And I'd be like, "Yes, it's perfect." So
awesome.
we did that. And it's, I think it relates to people who are, who grew up like I did, and people who are not willing to quit whatever they're looking for.
Yeah. Well, I'll also post a link when I go back and edit the social so people can find it if they want to check it out. And it's worth the copy. And the other thing I want to touch on before we get to rapid questions, which I have a good time with that, you also are very big in real estate investing. You have videos strictly to, when you flip, because there's some homes you flip, some you buy to rent. I just saw too, you've also put on seminars to help people get into investing. So talk about that and your passion for investing and why it's important to you.
The real estate investing is probably one of my biggest passions. It's probably my second biggest passion besides helping agents succeed at a high level. That is a true passion of mine. I could sell 1,000 houses and be happy. I could allow my agents to hit their goals and it would make me twice as happy. So real estate investing, I'm super passionate about it because there's such a science to it. People think it's easy. People think that anybody can do it. But there are so many different levels of intricacies with it. And so I've committed to learning these intricacies, training and teaching and coaching and doing all these things. And as far as real estate agents, me and Terb, if we like it or not, me and you're going to wake up one day at 60-year-old and decide we don't want to sell houses anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what we do with the income we make and the knowledge that we learn, depends on if we're able to stop working at 60, at 40, or whenever we decide we're done working. I think it's too late for both of us to quit at 40, but either way. But so I look to invest this year. I hope to buy about 8 properties. And last year I did 4, flipped 1, bought 4 to hold. And I'm a big fan of buying and holding because you get all your 4 benefits when you're buying and holding. When I'm selling, I get to capitalize on appreciation. If I flip it. So, but if I'm buying and holding, I get cash flow, I get appreciation. Somebody else is paying down my debt. I get the tax benefits. So it's super important that I can raise my income and decrease my tax liability while creating wealth. And right now, in the market that's so inflamed, so in this inflammatory market, money is going down, but assets are going up. So I can take the money here, buy properties here, and this is going to level out here. But here, I've also got appreciation. So I'm going to continue to rise as someone else is paying down my debt. Now my dollars are worth. And any debt I can get here, if I get a debt, let's say it's at 100%, and the money drops to 80 because of inflation, because that's what happens. Your money decreases in value. Now my debt is worth more. My debt is more valuable because now it's worth less and it bought more. So buying and holding is definitely my strategy. And I did a seminar at my office in Noonan. I literally had, like, say, guys, I'm teaching a seminar, about 30 people, and literally before 24 hours, I had to turn the link off. And
I saw a picture. It was awesome. No, it's great. And then be listening, watching. I mean, Tim's got a phenomenal YouTube channel, and he's got just links or videos just for this. And your wife also is very involved with your investments, and it's awesome to see. And again, I have a goal of mine to buy my first investment property and practice what you preach and what I want to preach for long term. So as we enter into 2022, it's hard to believe January's almost over. What's your team concentrating on to accomplish your goals, to have the same, if not better, results from a year ago? Because I know we're goal oriented. We also have the adversity of low supply countrywide, across the country. So there's many reasons to have excuses. So what are you coming in at and say, okay, guys, this is what we're going to concentrate? You break it down into quarters, full year. What are your goals for this year?
We're talking about excuses. You can have excuses or results. You can't have both. So I will not focus on the excuses. The result that we're focusing on is everything that we do every day is focusing on listing-based content. Anywhere there's a problem, and I did a video about this the other day, for you to become wealthy and create a great business, you have to solve a problem. The problem in today's real estate market is we have a lack of inventory. So for us to be able to create properties, we help fix the problem. So, but creating that is not the complete solution. The complete solution with me is getting more listings, getting more than my fair share, selling these listings. But it's also educating these buyers and sellers that I will be able to sell your house, put you in a new house, and you're never going to be homeless. And we did it over and over and over, but still that is such a true fear with people. And I understand it. Like I can understand that being a fear. So my job is to educate them. So we still want to close. We want to be probably 450 homes this coming year, both teams combined. So, and I think we can do it because I have all-stars. Like everybody, we're on the same mission. We're going to the same path, and everybody's growing.
Yeah, and you're right. We're problem solvers. Where our value comes in is strategy, problem solving, and we're actually helping the client right now, where we're actually Jordan's in the other room, writing an offer, and we're bridging that. We're buy then selling this property and having that game plan. Where I think that's also where the value that we provide. But you're exactly right. I think the listing content, something that we're trying to implement daily, letting everyone know. Why would you tell people now to buy now and not wait? Because you hear it all over is, I'm waiting for this to crash, which you and I have talked about that, or I'll wait 6 months. But what's the message now to buyers that may be listening and they're just maybe nervous and want to get off the fence?
For the same reasons I told you about investing, that you should invest. Your dollars are decreasing and prices are increasing. So waiting now is going to cost you later more in purchase price and more in your percentage rate when you finance. So it's going to cost you more to wait. Plus, you're paying someone else's mortgage if you like it or not. And rents follow prices. They're about a 12 to 18 month behind. So this time next year, rents are going to go through the roof, and rents are already going high. They'll go through the roof. Same reasons: supply and demand, inflation, appreciation, all the other things. It's going to continue to happen. But the same reason I tell buyers is the same reason I tell my people to invest now. There's never a bad time to invest. There's bad properties. Same thing for people. But if you wait, it's going to cost you. The cost of waiting this will be the worst time in history to wait because of appreciation, inflation, and interest rates.
Yep. Why do you love what you do, man?
I get to help people. That's my thing. When I was fighting and teaching, I loved that. Then I got into real estate, and I loved helping buyers and sellers. And now passion is I love helping realtors. What real estate has done for me, it's took a kid that dropped out of high school that used to get punched and live and making a great living because I refused to quit. I wanted to be the smartest. I wanted to work the hardest, and I had everything come together perfect for it. So with what I have, if I do not teach it, it's a waste. Just like giving. There's no use having everything that you want and then some, not to be able to help someone who can't. It's different than won't. I won't help anybody who just won't do it. But some people can't. Dogs can't. Old people can't. Kids can't. I'll help those. And same thing with this. It allows me to educate agents. It allows me to bring them up, and it allows them to feel good about themselves. Allows them to supply the life they want to their family. And I have the knowledge. It would be very selfish of me not to share that.
No, I think that's fantastic. That's your why, man. It's awesome. You get to live that every day. So where do you see Tim Stout and Associates in 5 years? Where would you be? Where do you want to be?
5 years. We'll have probably 30 agents in Noonan. We'll probably have 10 to 15 in Tennessee. I'll have an Alabama team, and I'll have a Florida team.
Very cool. I see that happening. All right. Some rapid questions. Fun here. Favorite food?
Oh, steak.
Huh?
Steak.
Oh, steak. I think you said snake. I'm like, hold on now. So steak. All right. Medium rare, well, or what?
The better the steak, the rarer I like it. So
Beautiful.
If I go to like a Ruth Chris or someplace really nice, I'll do rare.
Uh-huh.
But if I go to Texas Roadhouse or something, I'll go medium.
No, I got you.
Safe, not sorry.
Favorite band?
I am definitely a hair metal guy. I love the 80s. I'm a big fan of Quiet Riot. Probably Quiet Riot. They're one of my
now, did you see them in concert?
I don't do crowds.
No crowds. Gotcha.
Yeah. I've been to a couple concerts, but I'm taking 2 or 3. My wife's been to 100.
I see that.
I saw Journey. I like Journey, but I've never seen Quiet Riot. But when I fought, I always entered them. Like they were my come-in music.
Well, this will be a good question. Your favorite sports team?
You know good and well I don't like any team sports. I don't like baseball. Well,
who's your favorite fighter then?
Okay, well, that's probably a better question. My favorite fighter of all time, I was a big Mike Tyson fan.
Oh yeah.
Now, I like Douglas Lima. He fights out of I'm trying to think. It's not in the UFC. It's the one that starts with a B. I can't even think of the name of it. But I don't watch a lot of fights either, unless I'm invested into a Bellator. He fights for Bellator.
Bellator, yeah.
Unless I'm invested. Even I used to train with him, so I really want to see him win. I see do good. And any fighter I've trained, of course, I'm a big fan of theirs.
Cool. What do you like to do? I mean, you're fighting or selling. What else do you like to do when you're not training or selling real estate? That's a good question.
Okay, that's a great question. Jiu-jitsu. I love selling. I love learning. I love educating myself. I love traveling with my wife. We travel a lot. And a lot of times we travel, it's for my educational purposes. Like we'll go to Miami for a convention. We'll go wherever for me to learn, but it gives her a chance to be with me, and it gives her a chance to enjoy where we're at, and allows me to feel like I'm learning and I'm not being stagnant, which is really important to me. Yeah.
Cool. Favorite movie?
Bloodsport.
Favorite place you visited?
My favorite city on the East Coast is Boston.
I've never been there. I want to go.
I love Boston. It's a lot like New York City, but better. And my favorite on the West Coast is I'm a big fan of San Diego.
All right. Where do you want to go that you haven't been to?
I've been Mexico, Canada, the United States, all over the Caribbean. I'd like to see. I'd definitely like to see like Rome, ancient Rome, see where the gladiators fought. I'd like to see that.
That'd be cool. You can have dinner with two people, dead or alive. Who are they?
Jesus and do I have to know them or don't know them or don't?
No, it could be dead, live. Select anybody.
Yeah, Jesus and my mom.
Okay, cool. And I touched on this before, but what's your favorite charity? Because again, we're going to donate $50 to your favorite charity.
Well, since you're donating, I'd like to take it to the Triangle Beagle.
Yeah, fantastic. We'll make sure we do that. I'll sell from Tim Stout.
There you go.
Lastly, I ask everyone on my podcast, you'll be the 41st, and eventually I will make a book with the best things you've ever learned by, or best things you've ever been told and by who. Best advice you've ever been given and by who.
Best advice you've ever been given.
See the wheels turning.
Boy, yeah, smoke's coming out of my ears. I've received a lot of good advice. I have been blessed with a lot of great mentors. I've read a lot of good books. I don't know. I guess it'd be something along the lines of don't live life like you're afraid to die. Like, just don't. Everybody's so scared of dying, but so it keeps them from living. And live your life. Yeah. When your when your card's drawn, it's going to be drawn regardless.
No, I like that. I always tell everyone mine was finish. My old high school coach really installed that in me. My father, you start something, you finish it, even if you don't like it. And when I coached, it was even if you're going for a layup. When I coached, Jacob and his teams, they miss a layup, I'm like finish. And it's the same thing with any business, until we do, because there's things that we don't like, but you finish what you started. Any final thoughts, man? I just thank you for coming on and sharing, your story, and anything else you'd like to share or people could find you. We'll make sure we tag you and all that good stuff. But anything else you'd like to add?
Welcome to follow me on Facebook. Tim Stout. Instagram's the Tim Stout. Anything. I appreciate you having me on. I've been on a lot of podcasts. This one I was very excited to be asked.
Yeah. No, it's been great, and
we've known each other for years.
Yeah, I know. Here, and I was like, I gotta have Coach Stout, Tim Stout, on the podcast, and we'll get Coach David. David's had me on. We'll reverse the tides on him, so we'll get him on. But no, this has been great because again, what you teach, what you give to others, you can apply in all facets of life and business. we're talking real estate, but whether you're an entrepreneur or you're starting a new business in a different field, what you say is a great way to follow. So I want to say thank you for coming on. If anybody here would like to come on the Super Terb podcast, just message me. I would love for people to tell their stories while I can help you at the same time get your message out. Going back to the opening topic, I'll feature my local beer of the week on the next podcast because we had so much fun talking about it on this podcast. But if you'd like to, if you like the podcast, please subscribe. Most importantly, if there's anything we can do to help you accomplish your real estate goals, please message me. It's what we love to do. And Tim, anything last words?
Who you work with matters.
I love it. All right, I'm gonna have to. I'm going to go through my final send off here, but yeah. So it's Michael Terb, your local real estate expert, with Tim Stout, and remember, who you work with matters. We'll see you next time, guys.